I want to address the manosphere, or this thing called the manosphere, the so-called manosphere. And what I really want to, I guess a couple questions I have off the top of my head was it necessary? Was the manosphere creation, the Black manosphere, was it necessary? And then the other part of it is, did it help? Was it necessary, and did it help? And I hate to tell you guys this, but I really haven't come up with an answer to that yet. Was it necessary, and did it help? The necessary part, I'm leaning towards the fact that it was necessary, primarily because, we always, say the last 50 years, the last 60 years, the complete and utter marginalization out of Black men out of the family is a real thing. However, we got there, we're there. And to a degree, when our ladies complain, they have both of us have a legit complaint. But my problem is, at this point, is what has those complaints really done to us? And is there a true and honest way back? Yes, in this space, we see the women who are married. We see the guys who are trying to work out to work out their stuff. The passport bro movement has become a thing. And one of the things that I really, when I talk to a lot of the ladies, and I hear the ladies across the space, the non-married ladies in the space, the 50-50 ladies in the space, the ladies that sit there and talk about, all the issues that they have with brothers and why they won't do what they do, and why they won't, come into cooperation with the guys. And, and the rationale that they use a lot of the time is based off of talking points that actually came out of the manosphere. And one of those things that we talked about on my stream on Saturday was that when Black men show emotion, that's somehow feminine. And this morning on the podcast, This Might Be Risky, they actually took up that conversation to a degree, but they were talking more so about submissiveness, but it evolved into that part of it, people not caring about, Black men struggle, and, if men are, if they're showing emotions, if they're feminine or not. And they kind of got into this discussion about which emotions are masculine and feminine behaviors, which I think that's not a real fruitful part of the conversation, to sit there and drill down into which emotion is a masculine emotion versus a female emotion. Listen, we got way too many fucking problems to get bogged down in the weeds. We got way too many larger issues than to be trapped in the weeds. And a lot of times, a lot of the excuses that are used with weed level stuff, as reasons as to why people won't do what they need to do. Now, specifically, let me go back to, is the manosphere necessary? And I lean towards, yes, it was necessary. And let me be perfectly honest, I really don't know a lot about the ins and outs of the manosphere. Depending on who you talk to, you're going to get various, explanations as to what it is and the purpose and stuff like that. Even when I try to explain, I get people come up and trying to correct me, and that's not quite it. It's really, oh my God. For me, I believe it was supposed to be a space, especially for the Black side of the space, to find a way for men to find a level of support, encourage development, and become the best versions of themselves. I think that's the basic bottom line version of what the manosphere is. But there were some talking points within that manosphere that came out that I think got perverted a little bit. And our ladies, I think, latch on to those talking points as another way to try to discredit, undermine, or excuse them not dealing with or choosing appropriate level fellas. I want to show you two clips, and they're each going to deal with different stuff. The first one, both of them, ironically or not, they're from Anton. And I do know that there's some I'm hearing crap going on in Anton's personal life. I ain't getting into that. Whatever's going on with him and his wife, that's between him and his wife. I'm not going down that road. But I will say this. And this is not a defense of Anton or his messaging. Just because some things are one way today, just because your house is strong, is standing strong today, it can be knocked over tomorrow. Just because your foundation is solid today, it can get cracks in it tomorrow. And it does not mean that every day that house stood, that house was faulty. So if there is some things going on with Anton and his wife and his personal life, to attack this man based on what might be happening, which none of us know, I think is doing a disservice, because we know life is very interesting and entertaining at times. So if for some reason this is the rumors that I'm hearing about what's going on with him and his wife, this is not something we need to be celebrating. This is not something we need to be cheering. And this is not something we need to be dissecting. Because at the end of the day, I don't give a damn how much we want to come up here for the drama and the smoke and the entertainment. These are people. These are Antoine's a person. These are human beings. This is a life. And what I'm saying is not in defense of him. It's just the right fucking thing to do. It's just the right damn thing to do. Okay. So, whatever's going on with that brother, if there's any remotely true to it, I'm pulling for you and your family to make it through this. Okay. That's kind of where I'm at right now. Now, back to the question. Was the manosphere necessary? This is the clip that made me start asking that. So I'm going to show this to you guys real quick.
First of all, y'all can't even afford to pay half 50-50 after the divorce. So let's not even go down that subject. A lot of y'all don't even make that much money to even be getting nothing after the divorce. Now, going back to this lady that was stuck on the road. First of all, y'all can't even afford to pay half 50-50 after the divorce. So let's not even go down that subject. A lot of y'all don't even make that much money to even be getting nothing after the divorce.
I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. That was about 4 seconds. I haven't looked really that much past the 4 seconds of that clip. I'm going to play it one more time.
First of all, y'all can't even afford to pay half 50-50 after the divorce. So let's not even go down that subject. A lot of y'all don't even make that much money to even be getting nothing after the divorce. Now, going back to this lady that was stuck on the road. First of all, you don't know if she had a man. Her man probably was at work. First of all, y'all can't even afford to pay half 50-50 after the divorce. So let's not even go down that subject. A lot of y'all don't even.
I'm focusing on this woman's somebody, I don't know her name. First of all, the attitude and the vitriol in which she is speaking about men. This is a Black woman speaking, the tone, the condescending, the disrespect. My goodness. This idea that this thing that women are very, very comfortable, our women are very, very comfortable with shouting this level of vitriol towards Black men. She said y'all. So who the fuck y'all is, I'm assuming that means all Black men. That, you know what I mean? That y'all can't even afford, y'all can't even make, y'all don't even make that much money. Y'all can't even, she said we can't even afford to go 50-50. This argument from this woman is what I believe gave rise to the fucking manosphere. And the fact that Black men constantly feels attacked every single which way they go, and the fact that we keep getting our name and our image and our life drugged through the mud. This woman, she didn't specify anybody. She just said y'all. Y'all with all of that vitriol and anger and stuff like that. So from that perspective, especially what Black men historically have gone through in this country, to continuously hear this year after year after year after year after year, that somehow we are just not worthy enough, and there's something wrong with us, and that something is wrong with us having to go 50-50. Let me talk about, I think I might be preaching to the choir a little bit from the people that are in the chat. I think I might be preaching to the choir a little bit when I mention the fact that in no point in our history in this country as a whole has Black men and women, have Black women ever been stay-at-home moms en masse? That has never been the case. Even during slavery, Black women were working in the cotton fields right alongside of their Black men. Coming out of slavery, the early days of Reconstruction, Black women were working right alongside of their men. Going into the 1900s, through the 1920s, Black women and Black men were working right alongside of each other. A lot of times, the husband and the wife were working for the same goddamn white man. The wife was a domestic aid for that man's wife, and then that husband worked either for that guy in a factory or whatever business or whatever that man owned. This whole fucking notion that it takes two of you guys' income to make it, and somehow that man is less than a man because of that, or he doesn't deserve, or somehow he needs to be shunned because it requires both incomes, that has always been the case. And when women get up here and talk like this, believe it or not, oftentimes no one corrects it. No one shuts that person up.